Hello and welcome to the StudyTravel TV studio in London. I'm Matthew Knott.
And I'm Nicola Hancox, bringing you the latest StudyTravel news stories.
So the headlines this week are recovery for French language schools in 2017.
Juniors, seniors and the UK grow for German outbound language sector.
And report shows growth in revenue and agency usage in Malta.
So we start with a welcome return to growth for French language schools then, Matt.
Yes, indeed. According to a survey by Association Group Montfleur, its 33 member schools welcomed almost 33,000 students in 2017, a 7% increase compared with the previous year, when enrolments dropped due to terrorist attacks in the country.
However, the increase was tempered by a 4% drop in turnover, which the association attributed to extreme pressure on pricing and the fact that the number of weeks constituting a student's average stay dropped.
Larry Maitland, spokesperson for Group Montfleur, said the government's decision to relax student visa rules for standalone language study had had a positive effect on the sector.
In terms of markets, the USA retained position as the top source and increased last year, as did second place Switzerland. Larry said that Latin American markets were also growing, particularly Colombia.
Very good. And moving over to neighbouring Germany, and this time the outbound language sector, which showed increases for junior and senior business and the UK as a destination, according to the annual market research by agency association STtv.
The survey found that English dominated, although there were slightly increased shares for Spanish and French. Among individual destinations, the UK increased market share of business to 48%, mostly driven by the cheaper pound sterling, STtv said. Malta was the second most popular.
In terms of age groups, there was an increased market share for junior business at 59.5%, while the 50-plus market increased to almost 10%, with more STtv agencies promoting such programmes.
And back to aforementioned Malta now, where research by ELT Association Feltham has showed increasing revenue, profit and agent usage for the industry there in 2017.
Yes, revenue for Feltham schools, net of commission, increased by 4.9% to a record €65.5 million, which they attributed to higher student volumes, as average revenue per student week actually declined slightly.
The share of student bookings via agencies rose to 84% in 2017, and schools spent €11.6 million on commission. Due to increasing revenue and stable costs, total operating profit rose by 28% to €10.7 million.
And now for a roundup of some of the other news stories this week. Since 2008, reforms to extend the USA's post-study optional practical training work scheme for international graduates in STEM subjects, the number of annual approvals has increased by more than 400%, according to a new report.
Education New Zealand has assessed the non-economic impact that the international education sector delivers to the country in a newly released report, outlining value in areas such as tourism, soft diplomacy and trade, and regional community life.
Beat Language Centre in Bournemouth, UK has launched a new 50-plus programme for international students available on selected dates throughout the year.
Cat's College in London has become the first school in Europe to open a Bloomberg Business Lab, which it said would expose students to the real world of business and finance.
Taiwan welcomed 118,000 international higher education students in 2017, according to the latest government statistics, with a decrease in students from China offset by growth from Southeast Asian nations.
And finally, the governments of Canada and Portugal have signed a new youth mobility agreement which will allow for the exchange of 2,000 Portuguese and Canadian youths to travel and work per year.
In our Grapevine photo gallery this week, you'll find pictures from the CAPSI conference, the first International House Study Abroad conference, and French in Normandy's participation in the World Table Football Championships. Would you believe?
I never. Thank you for watching the news this week, sponsored by España Escuela de Español. Goodbye.
Goodbye, thank you.